Okay, so good afternoon. Our task to present just after lunch, but I will do my best to get you not bored. So, I'm going to talk to you about French Polynesia, so I will give you, because I think that not everybody here is aware about the situation there. So I will give you a background about the location and key information, then I'm going to talk about the several MPAs we get there. And then I will focus on the management plan in Morea Island. Also, I'll give you geographic information. I will talk about the governance system, and then the role and the approach in enforcement. So French Polynesia is a big territory located on the Pacific. So I will show the location here on the map from the Pacific. So here we are. So we saw the Marshall Islands yesterday, and we are even bigger Pacific Island countries. So this is the map, and our territory is bigger as Europe. So we have 5 archipelagos. So we have the Marquesas Island on the north. Then we have the Tuamotu Archipelago. So this archipelago contains almost 20% of the atoll of the world, so it's 78 atolls. Then we have the Society Islands, where we have the administrative capital Papeete, the Austral Island, and the Gambier Island. So these 118 islands are scattered on 5.5 million of square kilometers. So it's a really big challenge for the government and people involved on the management marine area. And enforcement is a big issue too. So the land surface is just about 2,678 square kilometers, and we have 15,000 of coral reef ecosystems. So French Polynesia is a French overseas collectivity with an autonomy statute. So this is really hard, because this means, and this implies that some skills is related to the French government and some other are at the local level, because in French Polynesia they have their own government with one president and they have all the ministry there. So for example, marine management is the skills from the local government, but when you want to make some specific regulation on the management of marine area, like the boat circulation and stuff, the French government from Europe need to be involved too. So the marine tenure, so the coastal marine area and the lagoon and the coastal area are considered as the public domain and are managed as open access. But for deep sea fishing, people need license or permit if they came from foreigner country. So now I'm going to talk about the several MPAs we get. So we have, I make the distinction between the MPA who have legal status and those who don't have. So people don't have the local people don't have the authority to set up and enforce their own MPA. But in some specific cases and remote islands, people do. And then we have MPAs depending of the using statutory tools from the Environment Act, the Planning Act, and we have fishing regulations. So we don't have a really fisheries act, but for the fisheries they have several regulations. Now I'm going to talk about the 2 locally managed marine areas. So they are located, one in the Australian called Rapa. So Rapa is really remote, it's here, and the other one is Mayhaw, it's close to Morea. So Rapa is really remote. The distance between the closest island from the Austral archipelago is 500 kilometers. So this situation is good for the local community, because they set up their own NPA and the access is difficult for other people to go there. So they set up their own rules and local community enforce their own rules for themselves. But this can be really problematic if you have outsiders coming there, because it's open access. So they get the case, and yesterday in American Samoa you bought the same case. So one day, one boat from Papeete come because they have lots of lobsters there, and they put traps, and they probably put the traps during the night so nobody saw them. And they went people on Sunday when everybody was at this church to take the trap. But one kid was playing outside and he saw the boat on the rawi, so the closed area. So he went to see the elders and said, hey, someone is there and they are fishing in our rawi and it's strictly forbidden. So they put the boat on the water and they go and they talk to the guide and they explain them the situation, that it's a rawi and for the local community it's forbidden to fish there. So the guide apologized and he went back. So they allow him to keep his trap. 1 month later they come back. So this time the mayor and people on the island were really upset about the situation. So they catch all the trap and destroy them. But if the guy, he didn't do it because I think that he thought he was wrong, but if he was going to the court back in Papeete, I think that they can put the court in trouble because, you know, it's hard to balance between the right of the people and because they are applying that to themselves and you're doing there and put a mess, so it's not really right. But in the island, the people comply with the rules because, you know, like you have a social pressure, it's small, 500 inhabitants. So they are doing really good on that. I'm sorry for my English, it's hard for me. And for example, so one day they catch someone fishing in the rawi and all family don't have electricity for 1 week. So they are really hard on that. And in Mayhau, they have the same systems. But when someone is caught, and for example, if I'm going there and someone see me, and the people are going to tell to the management committee that I was fishing in the rawi, so you get a fine from 1,000 and 500 go to the people who said, oh, I saw him, and 500 in a fund for the community. Then we have the fishing restricted areas. So I put these fisheries in green and I make a special dedicace for my friend Andrew. You don't listen to me. So this zone have a legal basis in the fisheries regulation and they are recognized by ministerial decree. Most of the time they are implemented to manage conflict. Most of the time it's for people using nets for the ature, it's schooling fish and people harvest that at the same time. Or for target resource like the giant clams. So here is my pictures for you, Wayne. So I know that you like this pictures is taken in Tatakoto, so they have the clams. And this in this island, that they call that the Mapiko, and this the highest concentration of clams of the world. They can count like more than 500 individuals per meter square, so it's really high. And then we have another tools, and I'm going to talk about this one because that's the tools used for Morea, and it's the example I take for my presentation. So we have two managed marine area planes, and they contain MPAs in it. So one is for the island of Morea, and the other one is for the biosphere reserve of the municipality of Whakaroa, and it's located in the Tuamotu archipelago. Then we have a protected area under the Environment Act. So we have 4 islands. The designation is like the category 4 of IUCN, so it's Habitat Species Management Area. So on the north of the Marquesas Island, so we have 3 islands. We cannot say really that these islands are real MPAs because these islands were protected by a ministerial decree in 1971. And at this time they said that the public domain is protected. But in the definition of the public domain, actually, it means that only the bottom of the ocean is protected because the definition didn't include the water column. So, yeah, it's really tricky because actually when you ask the question to the people and the jurists working on the ministry, they cannot tell you if it's real MPAs, if it's protected or not, so there's lots of work on the legal framework. And then we have another reserve. It's 2 atolls on the Society Island. It's Scilly and Bellingshausen, and Scilly is one of the major turtles nesting site in French Polynesia. So it's a it's an integral reserve. So now I'm going to focus on my case study. I take the marine management plan of the island of Moorea. So Moorea is located on the Society Island. Tahiti and Moorea, 75% of the whole population of French Polynesia, it's about 260,000 people. 75% of the population is in these two islands. So it's really easy to go from Tahiti to Moorea. It's just 25 minutes boat. And there is a lot of people in Tahiti during the weekend or school holiday. They are spending time there. So it means that in terms of management of marine area, it can create conflict with the local population. And there is a real need in this island to manage the activities and the resources. So yeah, it's really hard for the local population. Here is the map of the management plan. So to build the management plan, it takes about 10 years. Lots of work have been done by the GOs. And this management plan is making it possible by the ministerial decree, and it has been taken in 2004. And the lagoon of the island of Moorea is also a Ramsar site since 2008. So on the map in red, you have 8 MPAs. 5 are no-take zone, and in 3 others, only fishing tools like nets or end lines are regulated. In orange, it's 2 fishery special zones. So in one of them, Marepa, the one at the right corner, you can use end lines to fish there. And in